1, 2. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to our conference with Marilyn. We're going to talk about adoption and industry, the Web3 industry in France and Europe. My name is Laurent OVION. I'm Vice President of Adan. Adan is the leader of this study. The first one was in 2020, so we have some kind of benchmark to do with the study in France and Europe. And I am pleased to introduce Marilyn with me, who worked with us at Deloitte and did a study with us. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to start the presentation.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marilyn RICARD. I'm a partner at Deloitte. I'm very, very happy to be there today. Vitalik, yesterday on stage, raised a major point, that is, when you start your journey inside blockchain and crypto, do you have today the same enthusiasm, the same mindset as the one you had when you began the journey? For me, it was 10 years ago, and my answer is yes. And I'm very, very happy to be with you today to co-present this major study with Laurent. And at the first row, my Adan family and my Deloitte family. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. So, first of all, when we talk about a study and the adoption part, we need to do some information about our methodology, how we did it. We did it with Ipsos. Ipsos is a French and European, very well-known organization with the panel. So we asked our question in France to 2,000 individuals, 18 and plus years of age, representative of the French population, according to our French statistic, and we did the same one in Europe upon 5,000 individuals, also representative of the European population. So the European benchmark was in the UK, Germany, Netherlands, Italy, and for the first time, Belgium. So in France, it was 45 questions, plus 8 questions in Europe. And we have some very interesting key figures to introduce to you. So first of all, I just want to do some vocabulary, glossary about the term employed to make sure that everyone is in on stage, and don't hesitate to ask if you don't understand that. Some kind very interesting investors, individuals who hold or have previously held crypto assets. Holders are the individuals who hold crypto assets at the date of the study. And the other one very interesting is the intentionists. Intentionists are the ones that don't hold actually cryptos and are very interesting in holding some in 2025 and years to come. So that's the kind of information we're going to rely on, so I just wanted to make sure that it's clear for everyone. Basically, what we need to know and remember about the study in France, and we're going to check that in Europe too, 92% of French population have already heard about cryptos. This is 8 points more versus 2024, and it's very interesting and important because we can now consider that everyone knows about crypto in France. 92%, of course, you can do 95, 98, but 92% regarding to statistic and panel, we can say that everyone have heard about cryptos in France. The other thing very interesting, in 1 out of 3 French people wants to hold crypto in the years to come, in 2035 or years to come. So they're just saying that, okay, we're going to buy some crypto, or I'm going to invest, or I'm going to interact with the blockchain anyway in the years to come, and this is very interesting. And the other figures very important is that 10% of French people hold crypto assets at the time of the study. The study, sorry, was in January 2025. If we regard these figures in Europe, what is interesting, it's kind of always the same figures in the different countries. You've got the figures about, the first line is about cryptocurrency, NFTs on the second line, and stablecoin in the last line. So it's basically all the same, except in Belgium, we don't have any explanation about this 81% in Belgium. But basically, we can say the same about everywhere in Europe. interesting thing is that you can see on stablecoin, for example, the information are quite very different because we're going from 70% in France to 29% in Italy and 25% in the UK, for example, meaning that the what we call the adoption and the interaction with blockchain is not quite the same everywhere, and stablecoin are still very significant increase to come in the coming years. Holding of crypto assets. Here also we have some kind of different figures in Europe. 10% in France, 19% in the UK. So it's quite different. Meaning, but what we can really learn about these figures is that we have still a lot of things to do, and we are still at the beginning of the adoption in France and Europe. Just to conclude this information, people holding crypto assets are sometimes maybe too much exposed in crypto asset, as I would say, because it's around 20-25% in different countries. Meaning that, for example, if I take the figure in France, people who hold crypto assets represent 17% of their total holding, which is quite a lot for this kind of thing. But it's interesting. Meaning that obviously for those who don't hold any cryptos, which is 90% of the population in France, we still have a lot of adoption to come. Two last things to then go on the industry part with Marilyn. Crypto asset payment is also a very interesting thing because 25% are totally favorable at the use of crypto as a payment, and on the DeFi, awareness and usage is also something very interesting. Key figures, people are very interesting, but still there's a lot of people to convince and inform about that. This is what I wanted to say. The last thing is about custody on the survey. Everything is well, quite as we know, crypto asset custody, all type of asset, obviously cryptocurrencies, NFT, and stablecoin. Many people, around 60%, are holding their cryptos through a third party, such as Conhouse, Binance, Coinbase, Crypto.com, etc. 29% through a personal wallet, meaning self-custody, and 13% is using both, depending on what they are trying to do on the blockchain. This is what I wanted to say about the study on this adoption part. You can find the study and all the information on the website of Adan, adan.eu. And now I'm going to let Marilyn speak about the industry part, and we can answer your question after that. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so now let's go to the industry part. And like Laurent did, I'm going to start with the methodology part and the key takeaways. But please stay until the end of the presentation to go into deeper details. Okay, so about the methodology, our industry section relies on 4 main sources. So it's a very robust study. We had an online survey of 25 questions. We conducted almost 25 in-depth interviews with experts of the sectors. We used also 3 external data sources: Crunchbase, Dealroom, and La French Tech. And also we added this year 2 case studies of our golden sponsors, Caisse des dépôts et consignations and Banque de Lubac, who are really one step ahead of the market in France, conducting interview like Live My Life with them. They have explained their journey, and it's quite interesting to see how they manage to build new products, to add ideas on the market, to help regulation to develop, etc., etc. About the survey, it was organized into 4 major categories. Company characteristics, human resources, such as number of employees, staff evolution, etc. Financial resources. Of course, a part around regulation and legal framework, and then questions about resilience of the sector. It was very important as we were in a beer market. So now the key takeaway slide. The first two ones concern resilience. What we can say is that despite economic uncertainty, the Web3 industry in Europe showed resilience in 2024. After a slowdown in 2023, the French companies are back in the offensive because, as we can see in the survey, nearly 2/3 operate internationally. So, and 3/4 plan to hire in 2025. And the third point concerned a crucial topic in France, which is the fundraising. Let's now take a closer look at the respondents. We had 82 respondents to the consultation, which is a record for this study. 49 were Web3 native, and 33 are traditional companies with activities in Web3. And we had the chance in France to see a lot of traditional companies launching products and services. We had a wave of announcements with Exarch, a subsidiary of BPCE, BPI France, Kitrade, Boursobank, Odo, etc. Even cities are getting involved. Because as you may know, Cannes and the Palais des Festivals are actually involved in a major and long-term Web3 strategy. That's why HCC is at Cannes this year. What we can see is that the most representative sector is, of course, the financial one, both for big companies and for startups. Now about employment and skills, the study highlights several important points. Employment in the sector is growing again in 2024, which is an encouraging signal for the future. And about the profile, as you can see, it's very, very diverse. Of course, we need IT guys and women. Very important. Compliance is growing. And we have almost 20% around research and development. From my point of view, as this industry is moving very fast, R&D is really, really essential to stay ahead of the curve. Now let's turn to fundraising. What the study shows is that 2/3 of the startups have already raised funds, which is great, but because there is a but, most of the fundraising occurs in early stage in France, and it's not the case in other regions of the world. Voilà. We had a major information with BPI France, who recently announced a 25 million euros digital asset fund. So we do hope that they are going to help startups after their seed phase. C'est quoi celui-là? Origin and nature. Non, j'en ai oublié un, sorry. No, it was this one. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, about the level of funds raised, it's in more than $2 billion. So it's great. It's stable regarding the past study. But what we observe is that the market share is increasing, and is increasing in the US. The US rose from 40 to 47%, and Europe, it dropped from 27% to 21%. So this is a critical point in France and in Europe. We need to boost this fundraising dynamic. A few words now about the funding sources and the origin. European Web3 startups struggle to attract local capital. 32% of investment comes from Europe versus 36% from the US. So as a conclusion, we could say that Web3 is a young sector, but that needs greater support and above all, beyond the seed phase, to maintain in Europe a long-term competitiveness and sovereignty. We can't close this presentation without talking about regulation, of course. As you may say, in Europe we regulate a lot. We are always one step ahead on this topic. And MiCA came into force at the end of 2024. This regulation, of course, brings a lot of clarity, but there is a gap emerging between Web3 native startup and traditional firm. As you can see on the graph. How can we explain that? Only 20% of Web3 companies have a positive view on the regulation versus 52% for traditional companies. So what are the triggers? Of course, the high cost of compliance. It's a cost to make a cybersecurity audit. MiCA is complex. Startups very often are young. And they don't. It's not easy to read this big book of regulation. Whereas for traditional firms, they have teams dedicated to compliance. They have experience and they have more budget. So it's a major point of concern. Regulation really can help the development of this industry. But what we are doing at Adan, and Adan made a very great job on this, is exploring the subject of proportionality to make this regulation, to make a regulation adapted to startup and maybe a more stronger one for big companies. Thank you for your attention, and we are ready for questions.
Thank you very much, Marlene and Laurent, for this presentation. We have 3 minutes for Q&A, if you have any questions. Yeah.
Can you pull up slide 17 or 16, 17? Can you pull up slide 16 or 17 back on there's a global breakdown. Yeah, right. Oh, go forward one. Thanks, 17. 17. Yeah, there you go. For the distribution of fundraising, the chart in the middle, how did you get to those numbers?
We used external sources. It was a Crunchbase, I think.
Thank you.
So I understand the first part, the adoption, is available at adan.eu. And is this other second part available there as well, or at a different site?
Actually, it's the same study, the same report, so you can find everything that we talked about on the website of the association. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm a bit curious. Are the proportionality coming any soon or not? For example, for the travel roads, MiCA, it's same for every company, small or big.
We're working on it.
Okay.
So no, I can't say that it's coming for sure, but it's something that we're really working on with all the members of the association, and this is a very big part of the Adan is a professional association from all the actors in Web3 in France and Europe, and we have a representation in Brussels, and we're working on it in Brussels. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll take one last question.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. So I just recall studies on Adan, adan.eu, if you want to find the study. Thank you very much.